Who wins in a fight between Superman and Batman? I don't know. Who wins in a fight between Superman and Batman? Superman. Batman. Superman. Batman. Hey and welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben. This is my review for Superman Red Sun. What if baby kal-el's rocket landed not in Kansas but in the Soviet Union? That is the premise of this Elseworld tale from DC Comics. DC animated films for the most part have been really good. Whatever you think of the live action films, when it comes to the animated films and some of the animated series, you just gotta love them. The story work, the artwork, the storylines, the animated sequences, just the way they get you involved in the characters, they really do a great job. So I was pretty excited to see what they did with this one. There have been a number of animated films where have done the kind of alternate storylines from your characters where it's not the norm. So this one, obviously, Kal-el lands in the Soviet Union and he becomes this hero, and you see what would happen and all the alternates. It's like this alternate, everything is topsy-turvy, it's the upside down, and you see what would happen if Superman became basically the hero that we see from America in there. And I really liked what they did with these characters. This animation is from veterans, so you have Mark Miller, who's adapted the screenplay. Mark Miller is this man who has his hand in so many creative puddles and puddings. I don't know why I use that analogy. When he's involved, I always get really excited to see what he's going to come up with or what's going to be produced, because when he's the man that you just kind of feel at ease with when you know his name is involved in the project. It's normally a seal of, yeah, this is going to be good. You have the director who has directed a numerous amount of animated features, lots of DC work, The Killing Joke, one of my personal favorites, which I thought was amazing. So I knew that we were in good hands, but I have to say it was better than I expected, but also a lot darker than I expected. So this is actually a story from 2003, I believe, and there's been some grumbling about the fact that it is a Russian Superman, and I don't know what to say about that, except you have to enjoy the story for what it is, and the fact that we get this now, we see a new animated version of Superman. Like I said, we've seen so many versions. I really liked what they did with this character. Even other characters like Batman, we see a very different Batman to what we're used to seeing, and that I thought was a lot of fun to see. Almost anti-Batman. He's still Batman, but he's so much more ruthless, and I like that idea that they play with. You see Wonder Woman and other characters that you probably weren't expecting to be in this unless you've seen the trailer, but I have to say that you can put all the stuff aside, like the agenda, the political stuff, and even though it is kind of political film, you know, with Stalin, when it's set, it's a very interesting story to tell, and they don't delve too heavily into that side of things, which I think could have been an interesting way to go. But this is an interesting story to tell for an alternate Superman. Everybody's alternate. Alternate this guy, alternate that guy. Just when you think you're like, oh, they won't change that person, they're like, oh, they did change that person. If you're able to go into this with like an open mind, it's just like, I'm just going to watch this for an altered version, then you enjoy it. The way the storyline goes, you can guess certain amounts of beats, but then there's a lot. If you don't know, if you haven't read the graphic novels, you haven't read the storyline, if you don't know before going in, it's quite hard to predict where it's going to go. And sometimes there were moments I watched with both my sons where our mouths just kind of hit the floor and we're like, what? Really great moments where things that you're not expecting but kind of want to happen. And they're all, of course, you're going to have a number of other heroes. Again, it's kind of topsy-turvy, the way that you wouldn't have expected. There are other characters, Wonder Woman, Batman, things in here that the way their characters are, like, again, it's just like the crossworlds. I really like the design of the animation as well. I think it works well for this feature. The voice work. Jason Isaacs plays Kal-el, Amy Acker, Lois Lane, Dietrich Bader, Lex Luthor. There are numerous great voice actors and they really hold their characters. I was seriously surprised at how they go certain routes with certain storylines, and then when you know something's about to hit the fan and it doesn't, but you know it's going to creep in later, that is a lot of fun. You know this is going to be dark when you go into it, but you don't expect how dark it's going to be. I believe in America it's rated PG-13, so it gives you an idea. It's kind of teetering on the edge between R and teen been a lot of fun. Dark as in not like massive amounts of gore, but just the content within, because of the how Superman has been brought up and the world, his environment. He wants the world to be peaceful, but how he goes about that when his previous master is Stalin is very interesting within that world. I thought it was a lot of fun to kind of see how they played with those characters and those roles, and how there's other roles that are also kind of different to how we normally see them. And I thought that was a lot of fun. If you're a fan of the DC movies, don't be worried that this is like any less than. I think it's one of the strongest ones. Really enjoyed it. The pace, the tone, the way they produce the story in a whole is really entertaining. I hope we get more from this universe, because we've seen the Batman storyline and the Superman storyline so much, and to see them twisted on their face, that is pretty cool. There's going to be a few faces that you're expecting to see, but the way they show you them is very interesting. A lot of fun. Definitely worth your time. I'm going to give this an A. And I think this was amazing, and this wasn't my favorite animated DC film of all time, but I liked the twistiness of it, the difference in it. Let me know in the comments below, do you like the DC animated films? Which is your favorite? And have you heard about this? Are you excited about this? I like the Death of Superman ones recently. I'd be interested to know which are your favourite. Do chat to me in the comments below about your favourite animated DC film. But most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.